just say this. I got 20 years experience. There's not an objection I have never, ever heard. They all wind up falling in one of these classifications. And once you understand the objection and you hear it over and over, it becomes much, much easier to deal with it. Now, I want you guys to understand this is you have to, although they all fall in the same categories, people react to them differently. And it's important you understand that because some people are very aggressive in their nature and some people are laid back and they won't give you any information. And honestly, that's the frustrating part about objections. It's never the objection. Quite honestly, the objection is the easiest part. It's how they handle the information. So I've had sellers storm out and react when I try to handle objection. And unfortunately, I had to learn trial by error. And I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. Now, full disclaimer, you'll never ever handle and overcome every objections. It's physically impossible. That's just how life works. So if you're okay with that, get over it. It's just like when people say no to you, it's no. The whole point of dealing with objections, the bottom line is your sellers just need more information to make a decision. And by the way, when someone gives you a flat out no, most of the time they're doing you a favor. Okay. Sometimes no means I don't understand what you're doing and you haven't really helped me out at all. And that's fine too. But at the end of the day, we want people to make yes and no decisions because there's finality to it and you can move on with your life. If you've ever followed up with a seller for months on end, I've done it for years on end, and they never give you quite a clear cut, maybe I'm thinking about it, Rick. I'd rather you just say no, just spit it out. So sometimes when I get in a long follow-up with people, I will put them in a corner to try to get a decision out of them because sometimes it takes people being boxed in a corner to make a decision to move on. The reality is, do I want to spend another 30 hours? Are they just kicking my tires or they have a legitimate excuse? And so we're going to work on those objections today. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Let me figure out how to work this thing. Okay, I got it. So we're going to break down. I have basically 7 classifications for objections. Over my 20 years career, I started out with the 5. There's always 5 major ones. And we've kind of blended in like some off ones that come up a lot in our business. So guys, remember, we run a 7-figure wholesaling operation and we hear the objections every day. I hear them, Zach hears them. We hear them from our staff, our acquisitions people, and I want you to understand them. So let's get started. We're going to work our way backwards. To be honest with you, these are in order, but like depending on your experience level and how much marketing you've done, they could be in backwards order. So number 1, questioning. Okay. And this isn't actually an objection. It's a strategy, but my God, does it come up on like every deal we do. So I want you to understand this. Questioning means you're engaging a prospect, you're qualifying them, and they start just yanking you all over the place. Hey, Rick, what's the price? Hey, Rick, how quick can you close? Hey, Rick, how do I know you're legit? Hey, Rick, what's your experience level? How old are you? What's your wife's name? Do your children go to local schools? I don't know. And so when somebody starts doing it, it always starts off with just like this. Who are you? What do you want? How fast are you going to close? You guys kind of getting the feel for this? This is what I mean by the questioning. So it's just back-to-back questioning, and it just gets painful. And I want you to understand, if you have this going on, you have to stop it right away. You have to take away the pounding on it. Okay. How do we do that, Rick? It's real simple. You have to check them. And when I say check them, you have to stop what I call it harassment. Zach calls it questioning, but it means they want to control the conversation and they want you just to be an order taker. If you go down this rabbit hole, I guarantee you will never get a deal, because if you don't hit all their boxes, they're just going to like write you off right away. So if they go, hey, Rick, who are you? Where do you come from? How do I know you're legit? How fast are you going to close? What's your mom's maiden name? Where do your kids go to school? I go, listen. Hey, John, I get it. You need questions and you're looking for answers from me. For me to be effective in this situation, I need to have the ability to ask you some key questions to gather some information so I can structure the best offer for you. Will you give me a chance to do that, John? And just shut up. Okay. Basically, you're telling John nicely, stop harassing me and let me help you out. Now, occasionally they will not let you. No, no, just give me the price. Wait a minute, John. If I can't ask you some basic questions about your situation, I'm not sure I can help you out. Will you please give me permission to let me ask you some questions so I can really help you out? And I promise at the end, you can make a decision if I'm the right fit for you, if you want to move on with your life. But either way, I'm here to help you out. I don't care how long it takes. And it's simple as that. The minute you start answering their line of questioning, you are not in control anymore and you're going to get run over. And guys, take it out of real estate. Have you ever gone to a clothes store and you go in there and go, listen, um, I don't know. I need a size 34 pants, 34 waist, 32 length, and it needs this type of cut. It's gotta be this type of jean. And so that doesn't mean anything. It's like an order taker. You're better off having the salesperson go, okay, what do you like to do? Like what kind of clubs you like to hang out? What are you trying to accomplish here? And go, I got some things that'll fit. Hey, what are your sizes real quick while I do it through there? So you need more than just raw data. You need the emotions behind the data. And the problem, if they're asking you all the questions, I get it, Rick. They're supposed to talk 75, 80% of the time. You don't need this. This is not the way you get the information. It's backwards. And if you take this technique and you buy into it, I guarantee you'll get run under the bus. Ask me how I know this. For the first year, I sat there and was an order taker because I didn't know how to do this business. So I'm telling you, take control because this is the point where you're talking 25% where it needs to count. Okay. I don't need them questioning me because it's just a waste of information. Okay. And then we're going to answer their questions in the entire presentation. So that's questioning. So you got to take control. Next one, the attorney. You guys tell me every day, everybody wants to talk about their attorney. I need to review it with my attorney. I'm telling you right now, it's 50-50 if they even ever send it to an attorney. Most of the time, this is a tactic used to kind of like see if you're legit. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this guy for real? You can call it a scare tactic, but like, honestly, lawyers shouldn't scare you. Like 50% of lawyers are wrong every day. I don't even care. Um, I'm not crazy about the lawyer thing, but like you have to deal with it and you have to know how to answer it. The worst way you can answer this, say, hey, Rick, listen, I like what you're saying. Everything sounds good. I just need to run it by my lawyer. The worst response I can say is absolutely not. I'm not going to allow that. You know why? Because you're instantly turning him off, him or her. It doesn't matter, guys or gals, whatever it is. It looks like I'm like doing something sketchy if I deny the lawyer. Now, there's techniques I'm going to share with you to protect yourself because once you give it to the lawyer, then they're looking for the consent of that lawyer. And lawyers are not, I'm just going to tell you straight up front, lawyers are not crazy about wholesalers or any type of real estate investors. Okay? They just don't like it because they feel like we kind of play pseudo lawyer, and we do sometimes. And a lot of times it's really hard to get their attention. So I'm going to share some tactics with you here. If they want to review it with the attorney, one of the strategies we do is we put the seller's name and the buyer's name on it, or sometimes we don't, and we just give them a template of the contract. Why? Because it's just about the language. If we agreed on the price and the terms, I don't need permission from the lawyer to do that. So, and I say, listen, if you're okay with $150,000, close it in 30 days. I'll pay for the closing cost. You pay whatever liens are on the property. You told me there's no liens or nothing, so that shouldn't be an issue. And we close it over at my title company. It's all good to go. So they go, hey, Rick, you just sent me over a blank contract. Yeah, but that's it. He needs to look at the language. We've already agreed to the terms. So if you're good with the terms and I'm good with the terms, then you just want to make sure the contract's legit. I'm fine with it. So it doesn't always work. I'm just going to tell you, but I always do this first. And then you can tell. So sometimes I'll tell the seller, he goes, well, he said it's blank. I go, well, you guys already know what the terms are. If you're ready to get a signature, I'll fill it out. and I can do a DocuSign, or I'll come by this afternoon and we'll get it inked in there. And the problem is, if you give them your full contract, a lot of times it'll sit on the lawyer's desk for weeks. And that's the problem. You got to get their attention. You do not just want to throw your contracts out there. Guys, full disclosure, I've had lawyers compete with me, with sellers, to buy their properties. Lawyers know if the contract's not signed, it's wide open. And remember, the contract has to be signed on both sides. So giving the blank one, like, usually it's actually brilliant. It works very, very well. Okay. Um, what else on the attorney? The one thing I do not negotiate with an attorney is who the title company is. They can call, they can verify their license, their information. Guys, do not waver on who the title company is. It's always a problem when you give up your title company. Please make sure your title company is the one thing that's really non-negotiable. So try that strategy. Worst case scenario, you can send the contract over, but you better make sure you have like a 24 or 48 hour expiration period. And by the way, the only thing I ever want the lawyer to do to my contract, if he wants some sort of language in the contract, as long as it doesn't change the terms on it, I don't care. Remember, guys, when you write a contract, you can't have a one-sided contract. That's what ticks lawyers off the most. If you guys are going to send a contract to a lawyer, if you can use your state-approved realtor and bar association contract, and all states agree to them, lawyers look like they go, okay, well, that looks normal. So whenever I have a probate, I always send those contracts, because more than half of them get reviewed by an attorney. I am not going to send a one-page contract to an attorney. You're almost guaranteeing it's going to be shipped, kicked out the door. So, guys, the reality is, sometimes, ready for this, these sellers get your contract, they never give it an attorney, and they use it as trade bait to get a higher offer. And I've been in that situation a million times. Once you give your contract in writing without their signature on it, it's 9 times out of 10, it's used as leverage against you. So you're not always getting, by the way, the attorney objection, a lot of times it's not even the truth. Some people think their friends and their attorneys, their friends and their neighbors are attorneys, and when in fact, they're not. So another strategy you can do is like, hey, go ahead and give me your lawyer's name and his contact information. I'll just send it right over to him. If they don't give you that information, they're 100% lying to you. Very few people in the United States, regular people, have an attorney on standby on a retainer. It just rarely works that way, especially on lower end property. So let's move on to number 5, the maybe. This one, I got to be honest with you, this is the one that kills me. This is the one that will take you out as a wholesaler 100% of the time. I've had moments in my career where I'm like, if I get one more maybe, I'm going to walk away. Thank God I didn't walk away from the business. But this is the one that's just hard, because nobody gives you information. Maybe. Have you ever been a maybe? It's like, if you ever ask a date to the prom, a guy or girl, I don't care who you are, how would you feel if they answered you maybe? Like, your self-confidence goes in the gutter. It's terrible. Is that a yes, or is that a no? It's like, I don't want to commit, but I want to keep you on the hook forever. And that's what maybe means. I hate maybe. I never accept maybe as an answer. You should never tolerate maybe. Maybe means, I don't know. I need more information. And you're going to have to basically keep going in and finding out what's their objection. Maybe actually is not an objection. It's an excuse. It's an excuse, guys. You have to translate what maybe means. What information are you missing so you can make a decision on this? And you have to spoon feed it. And that's why you always have to be in control of answering questions. Guys, here's the really cool thing. Maybe is 100% avoidable. What do I mean by that? If you guys will take the time, go to free. Let me fix this over here. Banner's kind of annoying me. If you guys go over to freewholesaling.com, check out our course there, and we teach you actually how to do the conditioning. So I'm going to show you in this live how to do it. I'm going to give you the exact verbiage, and I learned this the hard way. So to avoid the maybe, You have to precondition all your sellers. And here's all I mean. You meet with the seller the first time, they're excited, they're probably a little bit nervous. You're probably like, if you were like me, your first year, like, oh my God, like I don't even belong here. What am I doing? This is crazy. Maybe I should just go back home and play video games. No, you stepped up, you took action, you want to help your family, you want to be free. You got to move through this. So the first thing you're going to say is after you meet them, you're going to, maybe they show you the house a little bit, you build a little rapport, and you're going to make a decision at that point. You go, listen, Mr. Seller, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me today. I know this is a hard decision, and I want to help you out and make this an incredible experience for you and your family. So at the end of our conversation today, we'll probably take about 30 to 45 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, because I like you a lot. And at the end of it, you'll have a decision to make. You're either going to decide, I love working with you, Rick. You're amazing. You are the best fit for this property, and I want to do business with you. Or maybe I'm just not a good fit for you, and you're going to tell me no, and we will part as friends. I'll shake your hand, and I'll still help you sell your house. If I can get an agreement on you that you're okay with this, and you agree to make a decision of yes or no at the end of our conversation, are you open to agreeing to that statement? And you just shut up. And sometimes they will struggle like giving you a decision. Why am I doing this? Because later down the road, when they tell me maybe, I'm going to go back to this anchor statement and remind them about our upfront agreement. And if they agree to it, then you can guilt them into giving you a decision. Now, sometimes they still give you a maybe. I get it. It's not a guarantee. But if you go back, this is like using the volley technique. John goes, listen, Rick, I don't know, maybe. I got to think about it. I'm just not sure. Hey, John, great. I feel like maybe we're missing some information here, and there's something holding you back, and I want to help you out. Remember, we talked about when I first met you that I agreed that we would make a decision together. I would make a commitment, and you can make a commitment to move forward or step back. What information are you missing that's making you struggle with the decision? And let me see if I can help explain or shed more light on it to make you feel more comfortable. That way you can make a decision of yes or no. And guys, it's that simple. If you precondition them, the maybe doesn't work very well. Okay. So it's like if you ever made a promise to someone and like you renege on it in front of them, it feels terrible. Like even if you're trying to get, you still feel terrible. Yes, it's a technique. It is a sales technique. But honestly, I don't want to go in there. If somebody tells me up front, hey, Rick, listen, I'm not going to make a decision at the end of this. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going into the presentation because they're just telling me I'm going to waste a ton of time and I'm never going to make a decision anyway. So you've got to avoid this at all costs. If you just precondition them, it's 100% avoidable. That's the really cool part about it. Okay, we're on time here. We'll keep going. Number 4, what's your offer? Like that's all they jump into it. Like they don't even do like the multiple question. Now, sometimes this is just a sub of like hard questioning, but a lot of times they're like, hey, listen, Rick, what's your offer? Just give me your offer. Like they just want to cut to the chase. And honestly, sometimes I'm like that too. When they do that, it means they're not valuing the service you're offering and they could care less about you. And honestly, if you take the bait on this one, you are nothing more than an order taker. Guys, we never want to win on price. It's just not going to, I don't want to pay the most. And I know that. So the only way I'm going to get it for a discount is I'm going to have to solve problems for the seller and overcome their objections. If it's purely based on price, just go to MLS because I don't want to be the highest bidder on it. And I constantly tell my sellers, I'm probably not going to pay you the most, but I'm going to be your best buyer. And I stick to that. So the simple objection we do with this Zach kind of came up with this one more than I did is, he goes, listen, Rick, just give me your offer. Just throw me your offer right out there. I go, listen, seller, listen, would you buy a car without test driving it? Well, no, that's crazy. I would never do that. Okay. So for me to give you an educated offer and give you the best I can, I need to know a little bit more about that property. Can I ask you some questions to help figure out if this is going to be a good fit and make you a great offer? Oh, yeah. Okay. 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 Well, cool. Let me do that. So once again, you're pushing back on them saying, listen, hey, listen, slow down, cowboy. I got to ask a few questions and I want to make sure this is a good fit. So let me get that off of there. It's really that simple. So you're basically just say, hey, just let me finish it. I'm getting to that one. And guys, another one is so Zach likes the car buying one. I have a strategy. I got to give you credit. I got it from a fellow wholesaler. So I do work with other people. I like to give them credit where credit's due. But a lot of times when they hit you like this, go, listen, Mr. Seller, let's see what the house can afford. And let me ask you a few questions, and then I can make you an offer that should make sense to you. Is that fair? Simple lines like that, guys. I want you to understand the objections. A lot of the objections are people pushing on you. Hey, Rick, give me this, give me this. I want you to think about, I have no problem with anybody who works at McDonald's, but a McDonald person doesn't ask the quality of your hunger, what you prefer. They just say, give me the order you want. And now all McDonald's are having machines because that's all these people are doing is they're taking orders. Don't ever be an order taker. You're better than that. And if you get in this business being an order taker, you will get killed. Okay. A lot of realtors fall in this trap. You cannot fall in this trap in wholesaling because it's a dead end job because you will never make a lot of money because you're always going to take the lowest fruit with the least amount of work and you're never going to get a great, you're never going to get a great deal on it. So, okay, let's keep moving on. It gets funner. Number 3, I need to speak to my wife. I need to speak to my husband. I mean, I actually, at this point, I've always accepted this one. Guys, once again, this is 100% avoidable if you do the work up front. So when you're qualifying your lead, you're asking the 4 pillar questions. You guys all know what they are. Price, condition, motivation, and timeline is make sure you have the decision maker on the phone or when you go on an appointment, you are meeting with the right people. There is nothing worse than spending 45 minutes, an hour. I've spent 3 hours with people to find out they're not the decision maker. So look on, if you guys use listrei.com, you can use that and you can verify who the decision maker is on it. That's what I like to do. It'll tell you who's on the deed. You can go to your county records. You don't always have to use, you can get this done for free, guys, and make sure. So if there's a husband and wife on there, ask, hey, is John going to be coming when I come by the house? Is he going to be present? Oh, no, John's not going to be there. Well, I think it'd be best to have John present. So what's a good time I can have you both together? There's nothing worse than presenting a deal twice. Here's the problem with it. One side, he or she will take your information and then they'll pull out what they think is important to them, which usually isn't. And then they're going to communicate that to their spouse, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their kids, whatever it is. And then someone's going to make a snap decision based on how they interpreted you. So if it didn't go well, you are going to get killed. Now, I've had husbands and wives. One loves it. The other one's like not okay with it. And then the idea is you to get them together to kind of work it out. And then you can gauge how much more time they need. But guys, 100% avoidable. Make sure that they are present. Time kills all deals. It doesn't matter the objection. If you cannot get that objection solved in 48 hours, your odds of getting a deal literally get wiped out by 50%. Okay. Most people don't need 2 days to make a decision if they want to sell a property. The reason they're not making that decision, either they're missing information or they're not ready to sell. End of story. Okay. After 2 days, 2 days quickly turns into 2 weeks. 2 weeks quickly turns into 2 months. Oh my God. It just drives me nuts when they do this. So make sure if you have a husband and wife and they're arguing a little bit about the process, she says, I love it. The husband goes, I'm not sure. Try to see what information they're missing. And just so like, well, Rick, how do I ask this? Hey, John, what is it that's making you uncomfortable about this? Just hit him in the gut. Because if you don't, you're going to spend the next 2 months trying to figure this out over the phone. And guys, by the way, over the phone, it's doable, but it takes a heck of a lot more time and energy. So if you have the ability to be in front of your seller and one has a problem and one's gung for it, focus your shift and go to the one that's having a problem and address their needs personally. hey, John, what can I do to make you feel, what's making you a little uneasy? And they go, no, I'm not uneasy with you. It's just, I promise you, it's going to be price, the terms, or does he actually want to sell or not? Your job's to get to that because after 48 hours, you will never get a decision. Very, very rarely. So just keep that in mind on that one. Time is the enemy of all deals. Objection number 2, my favorite one. I call it the Zillow objection because it's more of a modern day problem because I didn't have this when I first started out. I need more money. My house is worth $5 million. Well, I simply always say like this. Well, John, how did you come up with $5 million? Well, Zillow told me that. Huh. So Zillow will buy your house for that, or is it some sort of computer just guessing at the value? So you got to kind of shoot holes in, like, disrespecting anybody in objections will never get you anywhere. So you have to educate them and tell them the Zillow is just a guesstimate. Sometimes Zillow is way off. Sometimes it's brutally accurate, and I'm okay with it. I'm not scared of Zillow at all, but you have to wrap their head around it. Like sometimes it is so far off. I have a property I'm dealing with right now. It's actually at almost a $2 million mark, and Zillow's valuing it like almost $5 million. The house is vacant. It needs work. An amazing property, but I'm just telling you, like, they are hung up on Zillow. And at the end of the day, Zillow's not going to buy it, and the market is only going to pay for what it's worth. And so we have to justify it. It's a pain in the butt. But guys, don't be scared of Zillow. Don't diss Zillow because it doesn't get you anywhere. So when you're dealing with your sellers, either on the phone or in person, look up the Zillow value so you know what your counter argument is going to be, and go ahead and take your notes and make sure you educate on them. Okay. Once again, this is a technique. I go, listen, Zillow's just guessing. They're not buying. Why don't we take a look at the house and see what it can afford? Okay. So many people will give you a price. Like someone will say, Rick, I need $1 million for my property because that's what I need to retire on. So they just gave you the answer to the objection, meaning they want more money because I need more money to retire. Well, that's not my job. It's definitely not your job. And all we can do is see what the house can afford, and we can make an offer based on that. Is that fair? I need to separate what you need from retirement to back to the asset. So once again, I'm going to separate myself from what you need for your retirement, and I have to focus on the asset unless you have any other assets you want to wrap up into it. So it's really, really important. It's kind of an easy one to get over. You can simply say, listen, when you get your house in perfect condition, then I'm happy to buy it. Like, honestly, if you get it up to that par, I might consider it. They won't. That's the reason they called you. And you have to understand that. Okay. You have to understand it's nothing more than a stall technique mostly. So I'm going to give some honorable mentions before we do the number one objection. So proof of funds. Guys, I've done videos to death on this one, and it's completely up to you. You have to have a strategy when you're doing wholesaling, meaning you actually you need to have the ability to close on a house. Oh, Rick, I've never bought a house. I'm 16, 17 years old. Fine. Go out and find a cash partner, someone that will back you up and split the deal, or give them 70% of the deal. Like whatever you have to do to get that first deal done, get it done. Do not sit there and lie to people. If you don't have the ability to close on the house, or if you can't, I apologize. If you can't find someone that will take over your position for an assignment or a contract, you need to make sure your guns are always loaded and ready to go, because if you get called to the table and you can't do it, it can create problems for you. So a proof of funds, remember, it's not always your proof of funds. Your seller's proof of funds will work just fine. That's your partner you're working with, and you can easily explain it. Having your seller's proof of funds and pre-vetting your cash buyers makes this foolproof for you. The other is you guys can meet with hard money lenders. You have to meet with the hard money lenders before you do your deals so you can have something structured and set up to fund your deals if it comes into that event. Rick, why would I ever have somebody fund the deal and do an assignment? Listen, I want you to sign every deal, but sometimes situations require you to double close on a property or close and quickly and resell it. Deals that can make $70,000, $50,000, $100,000. There's plenty of money into it. Bring in a money partner and make sure it works. Remember, guys, you can get a proof of funds from your cash buyers, and this will actually fill in that void. What I want you to do is prepare your tool chest when you go out wholesaling. If your strategy is just to assign and never, ever have a cash partner or something, you're going to get called to the table sooner or later. And I'm trying to prevent you from doing that. Next one. You look very young. I don't know where you came from, but that's a heck of a compliment. I beg for that compliment. So if you're under the age of 25 and you're getting this all the time, God bless you. Like, it's a compliment. Take it when someone tells you, go, really? You think so? I don't get it much, guys. Occasionally my wife says it, but I don't. She's been with me too long. She's kind of jaded. So if you look very young, take it as a compliment. Don't fight it. Embrace it. Do you really think I look that young? Is it my face? What is it? And I want you to understand, if you are young, I walked Zach through this business at 16 and 17 years old. Dude, Zach's got like a young looking face. So I sat down with Zach and I had a conversation. I said, Zach, are you going to let someone, based on how you look, decide what your financial future is going to be? He says, no, absolutely. So use it as an asset. Don't use it as a liability. So here's what you do when they say you look very young. Take it as a compliment and move on. Number two, if you're young, it's an asset. Okay. You lack experience, but you're getting it here with Rick and Zach. So you have confidence on that one. And number two, you have youth, you have enthusiasm, and you have an excitement level. Okay. If you don't want to know what I mean by that, you can make it up. Although you can never outclass somebody in experience, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of old guys out there like me doing this, and they're just boring. I'll buy your house. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. And you come in and go, listen, I want to help you out so much. I know I get it. You saw I looked a little bit young, but listen, I'm going to take such good care of you. And you're just fun to be around, and life's short. And I want to help you solve your situation. I assure you I can move forward and get this house bought. Wouldn't you rather work with someone that's excited and wants to help you out as opposed to someone that just buys all day and that's all they do? And that's what I'm going to do with this strategy. You guys, you got to bring an energy level just like this.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go.
Okay? That's what I need, guys. If you're young, you've got to take that attitude, because experience will come with time, but a good attitude and a willingness to help people out and be a sympathizing, empathetic human being, dude, you already have it. You just got to utilize it. It didn't stop Zach, and it shouldn't stop you. That was at 16, guys. So I know I got people younger on here looking. I'm just telling you, your youth is a huge asset to the world's future. You need to bring it. How do you show it? I lack experience, but my enthusiasm, my excitement to help you out will more than make up for it. Number three. Hey, Rick, the property's already in probate. Dude, guys, just go on my YouTube channel, Flip with Rick, and put in probate. I probably got 10, 15 hours of this one. It's really simple. Okay. Anybody that's in probate can enter into a financial agreement. You're looking for the PR, stands for the personal representative, or the executor. Okay. It's that simple. Go there, look on YouTube. I'm not going to waste time on that one. Okay. Give me a bid. Realtor is coming next week. Can I copy your contract? Guys, this is why we don't hand out contracts that there's not immediate dire attention to sign right away. So we don't give bids. So at this point, it means you have not solved their curiosity with you, and they're a little bit nervous about working with you. So when I hear the word realtor, I'm going to focus on the reason they called me. Your house is run down. You can't have people walking through it. You don't want to do like extensive inspections, and you just want to know what you're going to walk away with. Well, the realtor has told me I could list it for $250. Why not list it for $500? You can list it for whatever you want. Judy, at the end of the day, you told me you wanted to walk away with $150,000 in your pocket, and I'm giving you a deal that will exactly accomplish that. So I want you guys to think about this. If you ever gone to eBay, you ever bid for something, and a sniper bid beats you out at the end, like it's timing down, I don't want to like fight with those people. Okay. I want to create the buy now price. What's the price? We get it now and we're all done. Those are the sellers I'm looking for. Those are motivated people. The people that are purely on 100% price, let's talk about it, right? If it's just about price, then they need to go to MLS. If you guys want to win on price, you will be out of wholesaling faster than you ever started. Wholesaling is never about price. It's about solving problems and creating win-win situations. Okay. So objection number one, no. Okay. You can't force your sellers. You just can't, you can't force your sellers to do stuff. So you have to wean them in it. And this is where you learn a little bit about sales. No just means I do not have enough information to move forward, or you're making me uncomfortable, or I just don't want to work with you. If it's a hard no, hey, we're not moving, we're staying here, then wish them the best. Tell them if anything changes, keep in contact with you, and put them up in a long-term follow-up in your CRM. Okay. But I will tell you this, most of the no's just means, listen, I don't know enough about you. You're making me like super uncomfortable. So take it a little bit personal and go back in and learn. And this is where your experience will add up over time. In the beginning, I was terrible at this. Now, somebody gives me a no, I just have fun with it. Fun. No just means let's flirt a little bit more, right? Like let's open this up. Remember, they called you for a reason. They called you for a reason. Solve their problem. Okay. How many times have you dealt with somebody you've never met before in person or on the phone and you told them all your life problems? No, you need to get to know people. You ever notice like once your friends and stuff get to know you, it's like a permission slip for them to dump on you? You need to do the same thing with your sellers. You need to figure out the why. Okay. So let's do an overview. I want to get in and help you guys out. I went a little bit longer, but hopefully it's really helpful information. Number one, questioning. Once they start questioning you, push back, take control, say, listen, for me to move forward and help you out, I just need to ask you a few questions. Please give me the permission just to ask you some key questions to structure the best offer for you. Is that fair? Simple as that. Number two, I'm going to review it with my attorney. Guys, give them a blank contract or get the attorney's contact information and you send it direct. And if they don't have it, it means they're lying to you and it means you need to overcome another objection. Something about this is making them uncomfortable. Guys, it's human nature to blame a third party on why you don't want to tell someone no. It's the truth. It's the absolute truth. People defer to something else so they don't have a confrontation with you, and that's why they do it. Okay. Number five, I don't know. I have to think about it. I don't know. I have to think about it. It's like they're maybeing you to death. Okay. You have to set up an upfront agreement and put a timestamp on the expiration of when they come to a decision of yes or no. So, guys, how do you counteract it? An upfront agreement. Number four, what's your offer, Rick? Like, what is it? Tell me right away. It means they're taking over. Once again, you have to push back and check them. Listen, John, would you buy a car you never test drove? No, absolutely wouldn't. Okay. Well, let me ask you some questions about this wonderful property you have and see if I can structure a deal that makes sense to you. Is that fair? Do I have permission? Yes, you move on. Guys, once they start pushing on the questions, if you answer one of them like past the first one, it's like an interrogation. Okay. I don't want to like, it's like you are not in control anymore and you become nothing more than an order taker. So, what's your offer? We kind of went over that on how to deal with it. Just check them, ask them the questions, and then you can go towards the negotiation. Number three, let me speak to my wife. Remember, set up the decision maker up front and you will overcome this almost all the time. And remember, if you have a couple you're buying the house from and one's on board and one's not, shift your focus to the one that has the challenges and solve it. Here's another little tip I'm going to give you, okay? It's going to sound brutal, but it's the truth. Figure out very quickly in the first 5 minutes who the decision maker is. Every family has a key figure that makes the final decision, and they will give you all the clues you want. And sometimes it's the wife, sometimes the husband. Basically, what I'm telling you is find out who wears the pants in the family. So, Number two, I need more money. My house is worth $1 million. Um, just tell them, listen, is Zillow buying houses? Did I miss something? Let me see what your house can afford, and then we can see if we can make an offer that makes sense. Sound fair? Simply just overcoming that objection. And what did I do? And then the last one I put up here, which is common sense, is no. No means I'm missing information. You're going to have to kind of jump back in and figure out like where I'm missing them. And this is where you got to really ask questions. And a lot of times, guys, simple no is just saying, asking them a shocking question that throws them off balance because you got nothing to lose at this point. So, real simple is, um, John, what am I doing to make you so uncomfortable? And just shut up. And usually, sometimes you'll challenge them and they'll give you a raw emotional response. And that's what you're looking for. Remember, we always ask questions to get more data so we can better serve them and give them a better offer.